If it's zooming and turning, if you're watching this and I'm doing this, it's because on my end it looks like it's not, but it's going. Hey, we're live. What do you know?
He's preparing himself.
Welcome to the Church Service of Marysville's TCI. Thank you all for watching the broadcast and sharing it. Like it, subscribe to the channel, and do me a favor. Why don't you send the message out? Because it can help change someone's life. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the right partners in crime. Do you have the right partner in crime? I know. You wouldn't think that God actually has a message about being a partner of someone in crime, but he does all the time. Well, you might call them friends. I call them partners in crime. It's all the same to me. Wife, friend, partner in crime. It's all the same. Okay, maybe it's not, but to me it is. What we're going to talk about is how do you get through obstacles and situations by yourself. That's a pretty scary thing. You can be alone, and some of us know that feeling, and there's no one to call. Who do you call for advice? For those that know, my brother just passed not too long ago, and Steiner was the guy I called. I called him when everything hit the fan.
Wow.
Brother, what do I do, man? I'm lost. All right, kid, run it by me. Boom, 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 boom. I download the info. He gives his 2 cents, and I can trust it, and it's valued advice. So I'm sitting there, and I've got to make a decision. I've got one doctor saying this surgery. The other doctor says this surgery. This one doesn't make me feel confident. This one makes me feel confident, but maybe this one's too confident, and I don't know what to do. One doctor says I'm not going to make it. The other doctor says I wouldn't even touch the surgery. So what do I do? Hang on. And I went through 3 calls, and I called 3 people, and then the 4th one, I call it. It's ringing, it's ringing, it's ringing, and then it's the voicemail for Steiner, and it hits me. Why am I calling? He's dead. It's just instantly. I went to my mentors. My partners in crime, my friends. A partner in crime doesn't necessarily have to be a mentor. It can be. For me, it was. It can be a co-friend, someone that's an equal with you in life, a partner. Most of you don't know, but Cam and me, some of you know here, but Cam and me are starting a trucking business.
I'm Cam. Hi.
That's Cam if you didn't hear. And we're starting a trucking business. He's my partner in crime. I'm his partner in crime. I don't know the trucking business in the respect of what he's being tasked to learn. And I have no desire to. I don't want to know double clutch or disc clutch. I don't care about that. I don't. I have no desire to know it. I don't need to. What I need to know is my field and my lane. How do you run the company? How do we pay the taxes? How do we pay all that? How do we get funding? How do we get loans? How do we secure financing? How do we secure contracts? All of that stuff. How do I negotiate getting our trucks across international borders? All of those, that's my forte. That's not his. We're partners in crime. You have to have the right tool. We talked about that previously a couple weeks ago, having the right tool for the right job. But you also need the right partner. And I'm going to share a story today because I took a hiking trip, and you all heard about it. And my wife and me. Oh, by the way, say hi, Cece.
Hi.
That's Cece, my wife. We just got married, if y'all didn't notice or see on Facebook. But my wife and me took our grandkids on this hike, and we had to cross a river, and it's ice cold river. Not a dangerous river to cross at that time of the year, but it's still ice cold. And we got up on this trail. We had to climb over a river on a very shaky kind of a tree. A couple of the guys here went and did it with us a couple of days ago. And all of a sudden, it was successful. Why was it successful? Well, it was successful because they had people on the trail who'd been there before. I had been there. They know where to go. I knew where not to go. I explained why we can't walk down to the actual ice cave. I explained why you can't go inside of it to the little kids. And there's 4 of them, my 2 granddaughters and my co-grandparents, other 2 grandkids from my buddy Eddie, Terry, John, Eddie, hi guys, and all the little ones, if you're watching. And why was this trip successful? Because we had planned it. We've been there. John was this guy's climbed a ton of mountains in California, knows his stuff. He fell into he just knew what spot to take in the line and where to do and what to be. And it was even though we never climbed once, it was like me and him were just like that on the trail. So today I had the right partner in crime. And then in the middle, you need an anchor in the middle. And so all of a sudden, Eddie's there. You know, he's a Marine and he's a hard charger and he's young. And so I'm like, all right, bud, if anything goes wrong, you're the guy to run back and forth between, John, your father-in-law, and me. And so we had the right team put together. We're building a company. Do you have the right team? When you're building a marriage, do you have the right team? Okay, she might be your wife, but that didn't answer the question. Is she the right team? Is she the right partner in crime? That's a question you might want to ask, by the way, before you marry him. Because if you marry the wrong person and then all of a sudden all that stuff hits the fan, if she's not the right person or he's not the right person or they're not the right partner, that's when you find out and everything can fall apart. Now, if I don't know a thing, that's okay. I just need to know a guy that knows that thing. So today I want to take you to kind of go back here into the Old Testament. We're going to talk about King David. If I can find, here we go, chapter 19, for those that want to follow along. If you don't know, I'm going to give you a little context. David is the second king of Israel. The first king was King Saul. King Saul let David marry one of his daughters, so that makes King his father-in-law. I'm not going to go into the whole story about why King Saul, the first king, tried to kill David. That's for a whole nother message. But here's where I want to start. I want to start with Saul's trying to kill David because Saul's the king. He's jealous. So I'm going to go after David. So he does. And it says here in chapter 19, verse 1, now Saul spoke to his son Jonathan and to all his servants that they should kill David. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted greatly in David. So Jonathan told David, saying, my father Saul seeks to kill you. Therefore, please be on your guard until morning and stay in a secret place and hide. I will go out and I will stand beside my father in the field where you are, and I will speak with my father about you. Whatever I observe, I will tell you. Now, Jonathan and David had a friendship that was closer than, there's actually a part of the scripture that says they were closer than a spouse, in essence. The word they used in the original Hebrew means that they were as close as a spouse. Doesn't mean that, I know some people debate, was that mean they were gay or, like that? I don't care where you want to go with that. That's not what I'm talking about tonight. I'm talking about a man who's the prince and the heir to the throne, and then the guy who is supposed to be the next king according to God. What a controversy. I mean, if you're Jonathan, you're like, dude, let my dad kill the guy, and then I guarantee I get the throne because I heard that David's supposed to be next. No, this is my friend. I'm not going to allow my friend to get hurt. So there's my business partner in one of my companies, right? And he's out in the middle of the country, and I find out there's a massive situation that's coming up. And if I don't call him and let him know, I'm leaving him out to dry. So then I'm not the right partner. And if all of a sudden 6 weeks go by and our trucking employees come in and throw this huge fit at the office, and I'm like, what is going on? Well, we've been talking to Cam about all this for the last If he didn't tell me, then he's not the right partner. It should be a flowing simpatico. It should just cohesively move back and forth. And that's what you see in this story with Jonathan. And it's a partnership that enables you to actually endure. And that's the message. Do you have a partner to endure things through and with? Doesn't mean a spouse, a partner. This isn't his spouse. He was married. Jonathan was married. They are brothers, not by blood, but by choice. So do you have the right partner in your life? Do you have right partners? I'm going down to actually go camp and go climb a volcano tomorrow in between 2 heart surgeries. Now, I'm going solo. So do I have the right partner? I hope so, because that partner's me. Or is it? Am I really going solo? Because I don't think I actually am. Because I have an entire tracking system. I have people that are actually following my hike on the computer in real life time. They can actually zoom in and see me with this technology that we have, and they can watch my progress every second of the way, like a 2-way communication with the satellite so that we can correspond with each other. And so am I really alone? Then I had all this week, the last week of prepping with all the experts that work with me and getting the best advice. So no, I may be soloing it by myself physically, but I'm not going by myself. There's a whole group of people going on this mountain with me because it's really an epic journey, which is going to be a whole other message we're doing. But the question is, in your life, what is the problem you're going through? And if you're going through it by yourself, I hate to say this to you, and it might sound rude. Some people really are alone. But most people, it's because we choose to be. I lived on the street, homeless, under bridges for a year. I was too embarrassed for help. So I refused to go out and seek friends and partners. And so that's my fault. No one else's. Doesn't matter what society. I can blame everybody in that city and state I was in. Well, you guys, and it was all their fault. At the end of the day, I could have made changes. And finally, I woke up and I did. And then you find a partner. So if you're going through something alone, here's what I want to tell you. You don't have to. You guys don't have to be alone. Okay? You can be by yourself, and that's the difference. I'll be on that mountain by myself. There is no one going to be with me. But I'm going to not be alone. I'm not alone. I've got great friends that are going to follow the links and see where I'm at. I got people highly concerned. I got some people that don't really care if I die or not. But the point is, there's a lot of people going to be with me in their spirit. So I'm not alone. I might be by myself, and you might be by yourself right now, but you're not alone. And that's what the deity, the creator. And so today we're going on this hike, and I'm teaching the grandkids and all the little ones about the rules of hiking the trail. And when someone says stop, everyone stops, because it could be a bear, and you might have to, figure out how do we deal with that. And so we had this little training that we did. And then we got to the ice caves, and we explained about how a little 11-year-old girl died. And that my climbing partner, that was his dad's best friend's daughter who died there. The memorial plaque up there. And then my climbing partner's girlfriend, Jennifer, was on the rescue team with her and stuff. So it's kind of a sacred place for our group. So I was explaining all that. And as we're coming down the mountain, I got great hiking partners now in those grandkids and Eddie's son and both of them, because we're coming down the whole trail and we get down to the water, finally the river, and we got to make this river crossing again, which now the boys and everyone's excited about. They're like, yeah, we're going to go on the river. It's awesome. And because for a little kid that's this tall, even though the river water only came up to my waist, for a little kid, that's up to their head. So it must have been the flood or something. I bet you tonight when they tell people, they're going to be like, I crossed like the ocean and like there were sharks and whales, okay, there was about 30 feet where it was up to your waist. The rest of it was ankle high. But we're coming down that mountain, and here's this husband and wife and 2 kids. And they're like, so did you enjoy the ice caves? And the one young man, Liam, he goes, no. And you can't go in the ice caves. They're dangerous, and you shouldn't do that. People die. There was a young girl, and he just starts telling her the exact same things that I just taught him up on the mountain. So there's a partnership. Even though he's just a kid, we partnered today. And so someone who's been up there and experiencing that partners with a child. And this child's now partnering with a new person. And the lady's like, yes, you are right, son. We shouldn't go in those caves. But had I not taken the time to reach out to show a younger person how to do that, then I didn't partner with them. And whose fault is that? That's on me. So what opportunities have you walked by this week that's on you? What person have you walked by that might have changed your week this week? And I think of those thoughts as I think of David. What if David didn't have Jonathan? I don't think he'd have been the second king. I do believe he would have been killed, because Saul, if you read the rest of chapter 19, kept coming after him. Like he literally sent soldiers, spies, all kinds of people to try to kill this guy. But because David had a partner in Jonathan that was in a twofold, is a strong grip. But when there's 3 cords bound together, it's they say it's indestructible. But it's an example to say where 3 of us are together in something, you're not going to deter us. You're not going to stop us. And so if you didn't have Jonathan, what would have happened? Did you miss your Jonathan this week? Did you miss your Jonathan last week? And are you going to miss your Jonathan this coming week? And do you have 5 or 6 Jonathans in your life? And I'm not talking about me, by the way. I'm talking about Jonathan in the Bible.
Oh. There's only one JB.
Thank you. So that's the question I want you to ponder. I want you to think about this week. Do I miss opportunities because I'm isolating it? I do it. I'm going to tell you right now. I keep everything close to the breast. You guys usually find out about heart surgeries like a day or 2 before, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go do this. I'm not supposed to really climb too much. I'm going to go climb a volcano tomorrow. I play things close to the breast. But you know what? If I'm ever realizing, man, I'm alone, that's my fault because I'm not sharing. I'm not doing like David, going to his friends saying, I don't know what to do. What do I do? Help me. His friend's going to him. Okay, I'll help you. And then they're actually talking with each other. Well, what should I do if my dad's trying to, well, why don't you tell me this signal and we'll do this and I'll go hide in the caves. And then he did. He went and hid in the caves with 400 outlaws and he was an outlaw now. But he survived because he knew a guy, right? We always got to know a guy. Well, he knew a guy. It happened to be the king's son. That's the question we need to ask ourselves. We don't need to be alone. There was an interesting thing as I was going through it. When you look at a leader and how they succeed, no leader succeeds on their own. That's what I learned, the difference between JB, 46 years old, turning 47, and JB at 20 years old. At 20 years old, you couldn't tell me anything. Not only am I one of the highest IQ guys in the world at that moment in my life, there was nothing I didn't touch that didn't turn to gold. So why are you going to be able to talk to me about anything? Shut up, move away, and let the pros do their business, little children. I mean, you just, and I did, and I was successful, and no one could argue. You couldn't argue because you're like, dude, he did it again. I told him he'd fail, but he didn't. So that arrogance built it up, and on my own, I thought I was a great leader. But one of my mentors, the guy who actually his name is on this Bible, John Maxwell, was a mentor of mine personally. And John looked at me one day and he says, you will never accomplish much in your life. And it shocked me because I'm like, what are you talking about? And I did what any arrogant person would do. I am good looking, successful. And I started listing every reason why this guy would make success. And he says, no. And the reason is he says, you're going at it alone. And he goes further and he says, not even a great leader whom God called a man after his own heart, because that's the guy in the Bible. David is the only character in this whole book that the Creator said is a man after his own heart. But even he couldn't do it by himself. So it took me 20 years. I'm serious. It took 20 years to learn this lesson. Now, during those 20 years, my success never changed. I was always successful. The Midas touch. I lost a lot of things, but I made 10 times more. And so people would wonder, no, you don't really need to have partners. You don't need people. No, you do. Because here's the coolest thing. Building TCI, which is the Church of Inclusion, you're watching it. Jonathan's Refuge, for those that don't know, we're right here having church at Wednesdays, which we're switching to Thursdays, in Marysville at a Jonathan's Refuge. These things are all just starting with Grace Connections services and the companies starting to thrive and just explode and the new companies that are taking off and all the things that are happening. That would have never occurred, I can tell you right now, had Jonathan Brown not be able to do this. I take the wheel and I hand this to my partner over here. And I said one day, honey, you're the CEO of this company, and I really keep a tight grip on that wheel. And I usually don't like anyone getting involved and telling me how to turn right or left. But I need you as my partner because I am going through a lot right now with my heart and all the surgeries. So I can't do certain things. Even the mere thought in my mind, just for a second of this, what's got to be done, will take my blood pressure and spike it through the roof. And so I had to hand off things to people. We just initiated it was a pleasure to ordain Dr. Vance as a bishop in our church. Everything's starting to just click faster by giving up and letting it go. By holding on to control everything, I learned something. You're actually not controlling anything, man.
Can I share an observation also?
Absolutely.
By letting go and participating in a partnership together, the natural result is bigger than you could ever achieve without that. And I see that with CC and you every day and every moment you spend together in this church.
That's awesome. If you don't hear what he was saying is that the dynamic of people that are willing to give away and let go, how much it shows in people. And that's the key. That's the key. It's not about actually you or me knowing everything. It's about caring. You know, have you taken the time to go up to somebody who's maybe today, like as an example, I'm out hiking with one of the guys who's not a real hiker all the time. And I'm talking to him and I'm listening, and me and Eddie are just, he's done a lot of hiking, but not out in the Pacific Northwest. So he's soaking up all the stuff we're talking about. But then he's teaching me about stuff that I've never learned because he's a Marine. So he's got trainings that I have never done. And so two people that are different experts in different fields can help each other. And that's what David and Jonathan are. They were two different leaders. And so the question is, do you want to go it alone? Because if you do, it always stinks. And I'm going to tell you what John said to me 25 years ago. If it's lonely at the top, it's your fault for not taking a bunch of people with you. So I'll see you guys at the top because I'm taking you all with me. And we're all going to be up there together. And when you summit a mountain by mountaineering rules, there's only one guy that actually is the first person to ascend that mountain. But I can tell you, as a person who loves the mountains, many stories, and I'll just share the one. 3 guys climbed a mountain last Meru 2 years ago. Jimmy Chin, Anchor, Conrad Anchor, and I can't remember the other third guy. He was a newer guy they took with them. So they summited. No one said who actually summited. They just said we summited. In other words, neither one of the 3 didn't want to give up who the actual first guy was. They literally made it up this sheer thing together, and they said we did it together, because had they not done it together, not one of them would have summited. So you can stand on that mountain all you want by yourself, brother, but if you want to stop standing on the side of a mountain, hanging on a cliff, waiting for the thing to drop, well, why don't you take a couple people with you, give up the credit, let go of the reins, and do your part and bring your part to the table and allow God to do his thing. And I promise you, it works. The universe just brings everything together. It really does. If we're willing to allow our partners to help us endure. And that's what it's about. You got to endure life. You got to endure all kinds of things. Do you have anything to add, my love?
Let go and let God. It's that simple, because he created you for a purpose. And your purpose, your purpose is divine. And when you let go, you'll see that he'll bring you back to that path when you get off of it. Because we think we're in control, but we're really not.
Side note, at my second company, I had 400 telemarketers there. They actually had a part on the wall where that people always say, let go and let God. It actually said, let go and let JB.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That'll give you an idea on how big that ego was back then.
Was.
Going back to
I'm gonna cut. I gotta cut this one real quick because I cut these short.
Yes.
Guys, I love you. For those out here on the broadcast, we're gonna continue to talk here, but I want you to do me a favor. Go out and live positive. You know the drill, right? Let's all go coexist together in this world. Let's all try to work together. Let's all try to be loving and kind, as Miss Cece always reminds me when I'm on the freeway, trying to pulverize the person in front of me that cut me off. She's like, I don't know if they actually even saw you, dear. Oh, no, they saw me. They planned it. They planned it. They got up this morning and they knew I would be on the highway.
No.
Or I pull out the old Pentecostal in me. The devil did it. The devil's in that car. The demon's in there. They're coming after me. Or you can do like Cece says. My wife taught me, maybe today they have an ingrown hair or an ingrown toenail. Or an ingrown hair. So reach out to us. Let us know how we can help you guys. We have so many needs that you can fill in this church, in the ministry. There's so much going on. So if you want to find out how you can get involved, please contact us. We love you guys. Take care. God bless.
Okay, so
Yes,
first,
sir.
a quick one, and also my TBI short-term memory. You said